I still got it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Standing Out, a show about sales, marketing, and leadership. I'm Trey Griggs, your host, also the founder and CEO of Beta Consulting Group. So glad that you are with us today. Hey, do me a favor, when you get a chance and you're back on the internet, check out betaconsultinggroup.com. See how we're helping companies tell their stories through messaging and customer testimonial videos. When you're on the website, click that button to schedule a call with yours truly. Tell us your story, and we will help you write yours. Looking forward to working with you in the future. Also, connect with us on social media. You can find me personally at Trey Griggs 24 on every platform, as well as our corporate account, Beta Consulting Group. Follow us on LinkedIn. Check out our YouTube page, which is also new, the Beta Podcast Network YouTube page, and be sure to connect with us out there on social media. Look forward to engaging with you, seeing what crazy content that you have, and feel free to roast us. See what you can do. Do you have a good roast out there for us? Give that to us. We'd love to hear that. Also want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at SPI Logistics for sponsoring the show. Appreciate those guys up in Vancouver, British Columbia. Listen, if you're a freight broker and then you're just tired of the back office admin work that's required, you just want to focus on customers and sales and booking trucks, make sure you reach out to them at success.spi3pl.com. They got the technology, systems, back office support, and they're just good people. So again, if you just want to go that agent model, or if you want to become an agent, check them out at success.spi3pl.com, and be sure to tell them that you heard about it right here on Standing Out. All right, we've got a great guest today. Can't wait to bring this guy on. Met him recently and his team. I've known his team for about a year and a half. We've had a chance to finally connect recently, and so I'm very excited to have him on the show today. Coming to us from Chattanooga, Tennessee, the home of Freightwaves and F3 that just happened as well. Please give it up for the President of Reliance Partners, Chad Eichelberger. What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
Hey, Trey. How are you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Man, thanks for being on the show, man. I'm so excited that you're here, man. It's funny. I've known your team for so long, and then we finally got to connect and meet in person. But I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about you from your team. And obviously, this is my take. If your team is great, it's usually a reflection of the leader. So kudos to you, man. All the success that you guys have had over at Reliance Partners. But you've got a bigger story than that. Before we jump into it, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, Trey, thanks for having me on today, and it was great to connect as well. Followed your show, and congrats on all the success. My background, I've been in the space for a long time, pivoted from the logistics space to the insurance space back in 2015. Started initially at Access America Transport. For those who aren't familiar,
one of the OGs, I know.
Yeah, no, OGs, Chattanooga. And Access, was founded in the early 2000s. I was very fortunate to kind of be along that ride. Started there in 2005, worked my way up, eventually becoming president of the business. Met a lot of really great people, learned a lot of great things, got to be on a fun ride from kind of startup to basically a $675 million run rate when we exited to Coyote. And then from there was president of brokerage at Coyote. Learned a lot, great respect for everything that Coyote has accomplished, continues to accomplish. Did it for 15 months, and about the 1 year mark realized I wanted to go and get back to jumping, being in the trenches and building something. Kind of knew where the company was headed as far as it was going to be acquired, and it was just ready. Honestly, I was traveling way too much at that point. Now I'm traveling just as much, but I had a desire to get back in the entrepreneurial world, and one of my very closest friends in the world, Andrew Ladabouche, had founded the company. The initial investors in the business I was very close to, and just felt like it made a lot of sense to hop over. So I've been selling insurance to brokers and truckers now since 2015. We've got a great company headquartered in Chattanooga, 10 locations around the country, and we insure more motor carriers than any other agency in the country, and we insure more top 100 freight brokers than anyone else. So
yeah, you guys have done a tremendous job. And, acquisitions can definitely be tough. I mean, it changes the culture of the company. It just changes everything. No matter what people say, it's just not the same. But speaking to Access America, how many freight brokerages, how many entrepreneurs, how many businesses have come out of that venture, and just so many people learning, like your experience, learning from there and saying, I'm going to go do something. I'm going to go build something, which I love.
Well, there's a ton, man. I mean, you've got, and all over the map, but I mean, you've got bigger brokers, you've got small, mid-sized in the market, but in Chattanooga alone, we probably have 15 brokers at pretty good scale that whether they trace their roots directly to there or they have a key leadership team member that's there. Minneapolis, same thing. Some really successful guys there. One up in Knoxville that is crushing it as well. I mean, there's a lot of people that I think saw like the entrepreneurial side of what we were able to do and what we're able to build, and have been able to replicate that, do really well for themselves. And I think maybe the cradle to grave model, not to jump ahead, but that model works well starting up a business and bootstrapping a business more so than the split buy sell model. But there's pros and cons to both, and people that are winning doing both models. So we just want to insure them all. That's all we care about.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's awesome. Before we get into your story anymore, though, we appreciate you being on the show. I got to ask you, are you a coffee drinker or a water drinker? Do you want a coffee mug or water bottle? We're going to send you one for being on the show today. Which one?
I've got a lot of coffee mugs, but I never use them. Like I might do an iced coffee, but I haven't ever invested in actually making one in my house. So probably I go with the water.
I hear you. That's right. Do you want it in black or in white? We can have it in both versions.
I like the black there. Yeah, let's do that.
The black is dope. I'm a big fan of the black one myself. All right, we'll get that out to you. We appreciate you being on the show today. All right, let's talk to you about your journey. So, one thing I've noticed about you, Chad, is that you have this kind of coach mentality, this kind of teacher mentality of wanting people to be successful. Where did that come from?
I've always been competitive. I've played sports throughout my life. I did a year in junior college for baseball. To say I'm successful would definitely be an overstatement.
What position did you play? I got to ask.
Second base. I mean,
second base. Middle infield. That's what I'm talking about.
But I actually had to play third a few times, and it did not play a lot. So I mean, to say I played would be probably an overstatement too. But it was. I realized I was not going to the big leagues, and then had a lot of fun at Tennessee instead. So definitely love sports. I've always been competitive. I've always wanted to win. I've always wanted to be the best at whatever we did, whatever I did, whatever I was invested in. I love seeing other people around me win, though. That's like I get a lot out of that.
Yeah. When did you realize that that's really what entrepreneurship is all about? That if you're going to lead a company or if you're going to be in charge of a company in your role, that it's really about helping people succeed, not really about what you get to do anymore.
Well, I think the best testament to winning is if other people around you are winning, and seeing that going back to the freight brokerage days, like it was awesome. Like I never had a desire to go out on an account in my role. I would still sell. I sell today. I still believe in sales. I still believe in leading by example. But when I got to see somebody win and then they win and they build a relationship and then they have the confidence and they can replicate that process over and over again, I get more out of that. And I get more out of seeing like young people or people that are coming from an outside industry or people from a different ethnic background that probably never thought about insurance or even before this freight brokerage, and they come in and they can apply this skill set and win. And we have people here that at Reliance today that they were first generation, America, and their families immigrated here, and they grew up and they watched their parents work their tails off to win, and they've been able to go and buy houses and buy cars and start families and take care of their families. And I mean, that's a pretty cool, there's no better testament to seeing people around you win.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if we wrap this together, business and baseball, you think about the Texas Rangers this year. They just won the World Series recently. Their coach, Bruce Bochy, that came out of retirement. That guy's a winner, but he's never going to throw a pitch. He's never going to swing the bat. but he puts people in the right positions to win. And he's got 4 World Series titles now, 3 with the Giants, 1 with the Rangers, I think. And that's what it's all about. He's considered a winner, even though he's never, played in a World Series game.
I haven't either.
I think that's a great testament to, the mentality of leadership, mentality of being in that position of helping others to win. And at Reliance, you guys have scaled, pretty rapidly. You've achieved some really, really good growth. What do you attribute that to?
Well, one, I know, so my business partner, Andrew Ladabashay, our CEO, when I joined the business back in 2015, one of the first things we said, and Andrew and a couple of other team members, the business was really on their backs. And, our first thought was, hey, we can scale this. We can take this from, an agency that's very good regionally to somebody that's the dominant player nationally. And so we started, investing in technology, and we continue to do that today. We built our own CRM. We do a lot of different things on that front to empower our salespeople. Everything we're building is kind of like a building block too, in that one, we build it for a bigger picture long-term, but 2, along the way, there is benefit to our sales team and to our service and our operations, marketing, finance. So we try to think things in terms of building blocks, like everything we do tech-wise is a step to get to where we want to go. And I think 2, going and finding the right people. We recruited for diversity. We have 32 nationalities, 26 spoken languages within our agency. If you walk in here, you've been in freight broker floors. It feels like a freight brokerage. There's no mahogany wood walls. There's nothing like you would expect in insurance. And we wanted to be different. We've been intentional on being different. And so I think that separates us a lot. And we can also invest in our people. We can walk around and talk. We sit in the middle of our sales team. It's just very entrepreneurial. It's very collaborative. And we want to be very flat as a company.
You've taken that freight broker model and just applied it to insurance, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's somewhat. Yeah. I think in a lot of ways, the culture side of it. And I would say with a twist, with the diversity angle, the languages, we insure a lot of freight brokers today. And when I see our diversity and I walk into other offices, it's not, there are a lot of companies that have made tons of strides in those areas and being able to go and recruit for that. But we sell to truckers and to freight brokers. So we have to mirror what they look like and the languages they speak. And so for us, we've been really intentional on doing that.
I think the question everybody really wants to know, especially coming off of F3 there in Chattanooga, is do you have a gong in the office, or are you guys relying on freightgong.com?
No, there's a little bell, but we don't have a gong. The first gong I've ever rang actually was at F3, but we have a lot of customers with gongs, customers without those. It's definitely, when I was on the truck, I got to ring the gong for the first time. So, but I would say, like in our business, even though we have a similar culture, no gong here yet.
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, thankfully, Lost Freight and Reed Lost a Lot has created a digital freight gong if you ever need one at freightgong.com. I remember when my first job in sales was door-to-door office supply sales, and every day we would come back after being out in the field, and we either get to ring the bell, which means we made $100 that day, or we get to hit the gong because we made $200 that day. So it's a pretty common thing, unfortunately, in those types of environments. But the virtual one is plenty. The digital one, you guys can get away with that. That's for sure. All right. So the next question I want to ask you about this. So I've been a part of companies that have scaled really fast. I was over at Lean, scaled really, really fast. It presents its own challenges when you scale fast. What are some of the challenges that you guys have had to overcome in your business from scaling fast? It's kind of it's a little bit of give and take, right? You're excited to scale, you're excited to get more customers, more revenue, but there's a few extra problems that come along with it. What have you guys overcome?
Well, like in freight brokerage, when you would hit like this growth spurt, you could go and bring in people very quickly. Here, what I discovered early on, I was like, wow, it takes a little while for people to get licensed to sell insurance. That's like a very basic challenge, but it's one. And when we're competing for recruits, and we recruit a lot of different schools, but like I'll say Tempe, Arizona, for example, Arizona State, where we've opened an office this past year. Well, us and about 4 of our customers have also opened offices there at the same time, and a couple of customers that are of size in the brokerage world and the asset world that are, located in that area. We're recruiting for the same talent, but our folks have to go and pass a licensing exam. So that it takes a little more work.
You just throw them on the floor and throw them on a phone. Yeah.
No, and no, they've got to pass it. But in a way, the people that do that are pretty committed to winning. And so I would say it's a positive and a negative that in a way we've probably lost a few people that, man, if they would have taken that test a second time, would crush it. But at the same time, it also serves to, the people that really aren't committed. We want people that are all in, that are committed. And so in a lot of ways, the people that don't go take it a second time, there's that. And I would just say just general growth pains. I mean, you break systems, you got to fix them, you've got to build redundancy. You have failures that you don't see coming. You have an office that you haven't built some level of redundancy, or you haven't put the right support around, and you have, at any point in time, you have a hiccup and you realize, hey, we've got to respond to this, and, you learn from it. But I think at the end of the day, anything that we break or that we figure out we haven't done well, our goal is to go back and shore that back up. So from that standpoint, like, every failure is an opportunity to learn.
100%. You don't learn anything on the wins. When you're winning, you don't learn anything. You just enjoy it. when you're failing, when you break stuff. Yeah. When you break stuff, when you fail, that's when you go, oh, we need to fix this. We need to change this. I always found that quality seemed to suffer when you scale quickly. Like, that's, to me, if you're not laser focused on quality, whether it be customer experience or the product or whatever it is, when you're scaling it, that seems to be the one that goes first, is the quality of whatever you're providing. Have you guys had any challenges with that? What's been your experience with that in the past and currently now?
Well, I would say in the past, I've seen that before in the brokerage world. And I'm not going to sit here and say that at Reliance, we haven't seen that in the past. One of the things that we've tried to do is build our own internal pipeline for folks. We generally don't recruit from the industry, from the insurance industry. We don't make it a point to recruit from the freight brokerage or the trucking world, even though obviously we serve them. We've had a lot of success when we have found good people that have, logistics experience. But for us, I think it's really been, we hire people in classes now. At one point in time, it was more of this, oh, it's time to hire people. Now we are hiring proactively in advance. We have great training programs. We will relocate people to offices to train if we don't have, domain expertise at that location. And so bringing them in to actually teach people the right way. We are very methodical with how we graduate people up. We want to give people a roadmap. Like, all of our team members know how they get to the next level, whether they're in service or sales, marketing. When I say marketing, it's more marketing of insurance policies. But I think everything's about a roadmap. And so when we bring salespeople in, we understand, okay, if we brought in 25 sales team members at the same time, conversely, we've got to bring in roughly 10 to 12 people that are going to start entry level in account management that we can also train up alongside them. And we mirror the languages too. So very much when we hire here, we have to hire there.
Yeah. It's about intentionality. It's really about just being intentional and kind of seeing it. Obviously, having scaled companies before, you kind of know what to expect a little bit. You know what's coming, which is very helpful. And you guys are also multi-location. You said 10 locations, 11 locations, something around there?
Yeah, 10 locations,
right?
Roughly half in Chattanooga, probably 40 to 50 now in Tempe. And then we have offices in Tampa, Birmingham, Chicago, Milwaukee, Austin, Sacramento. I'm sure I've left one out too. We have Nashville. Right. Sorry, I'm going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah. Can't leave Graham out. Our buddy Graham.
Yeah, no, Jesse and Graham. I'm going to hear about that. But we have offices predominantly Southeast, Midwest, and then West Coast. Tempe has been a big focal point, and Salt Lake City, along with Sacramento. So
nice. Is everyone in the office in those locations, or are people working remotely for you?
So our sales team largely works in the office. We have some fleet team members that are remote in different locations, given that they're traveling constantly. Maybe they have a home base, but they're really all over the country. And then we have account managers that we brought on in the past that have been key hires that may be located in different markets, but the majority of our people work in office locations.
Yeah, love that. And with COVID, it's created a different management style. Do you find that Have you figured out the best practices for managing people remotely versus everybody being in the office? Because back in the old Access America days, everyone's in the office. A lot
Oh
of
yeah.
freight brokerages, still they want that people in the office. What's been the biggest challenge in managing people remotely and having multi locations?
Well, I think when we looked at going through COVID, we gave people the optionality. Do you want to be in the office or not initially? And there was a point in time where we realized the people that were coming in, especially on the sales side, we saw better productivity. Initially, the first few months we didn't, but as we kind of saw that, we started to encourage people to come back in the office. Eventually, we asked people to come back in the office. We also built some benefits for them where they had some flexibility. But sales, we really wanted in the office. Our account management team, they had more flexibility. Generally, as we look at our business, we see that what they do can be done remotely. And we want them to be part of the team, to have the unity, to have the experience, to build the culture. But at the same time, we also know they can be really successful outside of the office. And our sales team members have demonstrated that as they gain experience. So it's a balancing act, but we still think if you're starting off in insurance and you're in sales, man, being in the office is an advantage. I mean, you just pick up on the culture. I hear things on the floor that happen and that I learn, and we all do. Our whole leadership team, they sit on 2 different floors here in Chattanooga. If they're based here, some of them are other locations, but we pick up on conversations and we learn and we help people when they have a challenge. So to me, it's collaborative.
Well, definitely for sales, it's a huge advantage to be together,
Yeah.
be competitive, and drive each other. But I like your answer too because you had a subtle nuance there. Some people do work better and are more productive at home. I think the
Yeah.
introverts of the world appreciate that. Some different positions offer that availability to be flexible. So I do think that the companies that start to see it as more of a not a hybrid. I don't like that word hybrid, but more of a by. I don't know what you would say, by case, I guess is what it was.
Yeah. And
What
we empower
role,
them.
what person, right?
Yeah, they have flex time that they know they can use and be intentional. And we know they're going to be plugged in and dialed in because we all have, workflows and cues that everybody is accountable for. And so as
That's
we've
the
looked
key
at
right
this
there,
over time,
accountability. Yeah,
as
that's the
long as
key.
people are
That's so
doing the right
important.
things, we're going to empower them.
And you're able to track them, which is good. Just track like what the work, not them, not them personally, but their work. You can track their work. What are they doing? How's that actually happening? All right, Chad, we got to pause for a minute because we like to have a little fun on the show. So we're going
Sure.
to take a moment and we're going to play a game called Wavelength. I
Okay.
don't know if you've ever played a game like this before. So basically, here's what's going to happen. We're going to be given a clue through a banner that's going to go up in just a minute. And then the goal is that we come up with the same word without talking about it. All right. So it might be like food with a capital F. And we have to think of a food that starts with F and hopefully be on the same wavelength. Right? That's a little background music. Up for it. We're going to be kind of playing the same team here. So it's you and me together. We got to come up with the same word without talking about it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Here we go. This will be the practice one. This will be the first one. Let's go ahead. So the first one is a TV show that starts with a G. A TV show that starts with G. Ooh,
Starts
okay.
with a G.
I can think of one. Right now. I think a lot of movies.
Game Day is all I can think of. I'm sorry. Was I supposed to say that quickly?
No, well, so typically we'll count down. So I should have given you all the rules. We'll count down and say it at the same time and see if it's.
Okay, so I wrecked that one, and that's really not a show.
Okay.
Maybe it is, but yeah.
I was actually thinking of the show Good Times from long ago. Like that's an old school show back in the 70s. That's the only one I can think of. I think that was a show.
If we're going on entertainment, you're gonna be disappointed here. But
well, we have a lot of categories. It's not the only category.
Okay.
We have multiple categories. All right. So some are food, some are whatever. So all right, let's try this is the first one. This is the first real one. So think of a word. We'll count it down. In fact, we might even have a gong that we'll play. I don't know. We'll have fun with it. But let's go. What's the next one here? What do we got? The next category is a song that starts with the letter K. Oh, there's a lot of songs that start with the letter K. Oh, man, I can only think of one. This is not the one you're thinking of.
This is not good. I'm not thinking of any.
We're putting you on the spot. You're just blanking. Well, okay, so I'll just tell you the song I was thinking of, and you can just say this is definitely not the one you were thinking of. So there's a song way back in the day by a band called Sixpence None the Richer called Kiss Me. That's the first one that came to mind. So I know that's not the
Yeah,
song either.
I know what you're talking about, but I would never have come to my mind. I
I
mean,
know exactly that wouldn't have happened. So okay, we're 0 for
unless
1.
it's
0
like
for 1.
Taylor Swift and my daughter listens to it. I mean, right
Ooh,
now it's
Karma. We
that or
could
my
have done
son.
Karma.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift Karma. We could
Yeah, I
have
should
maybe
have known
done
that, but my daughter would have known that.
That's right. So would have mine. We need to have him here. We need to phone a friend. All right, let's go
Yes.
for the next one here. Next one here we got is a movie that starts with the letter I. Ooh, a movie that starts with the letter I. Okay, I've got one. I've got one.
Man, I'm really failing here under pressure.
Any movie at all. Just go for it. Anything at all that starts with the letter I.
Anything at all with the letter I.
I'm going to give you a hint. I'm thinking about an animated one just in case that helps you out at all.
Animated one, letter I. I'm drawing a blank here. I'm telling you, this is not my thing. Like entertainment, I told you, it's not. I know I've heard the movie.
We're exposing Chad Eichelberger right now.
Yes, this is not what I'm doing. This is terrible.
That's right. So trivia nights, you probably don't enjoy those as much either, I would bet. Or maybe you do. Maybe you like trivia.
If it's sports or like
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
history, anything like that. But entertainment, that's not my thing. Like if actors or actresses, this would be even more disappointing.
Okay, so maybe we'll have a sports category coming up. I don't know. So the only movie I was thinking of was Ice Age.
Which had Ray Romano. I've watched that, but
I know. There's probably a ton of them, but it's like
I think like T for Top Gun would have been so much easier.
I know that would have been good. Our producer, come on. Next one we got. The next one here is historical event that starts with a D. Okay, I got
this.
Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1. D-Day. What'd you have?
Doomsday.
That's the same thing, right? D-Day, Doomsday? It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. I think
we're counting. We're counting it.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm the referee too here, Chad. So we're counting it. All right, that's good.
Okay, so that's good. Right. Let's count that.
Oh, here we go. Sports team that starts with Y. This might be up your alley. Ooh, sports team that starts with Y.
Sports team with Y.
Are we okay? So are we going this? We're not going the city. We're going for the mascot.
There's no city.
Yeah. There's not going to be a city, like a minor league team maybe that starts with Y. So let's think of is there a sports team that starts with a Y?
I don't know if there is one. I mean, I'm trying to think. I know major leagues well. I know of nobody.
That's a tough one. This is getting too hard.
I mean, this is even a major league team.
Sports team with a Y. I wonder if there's a team out there that's like the Yams, the Yakima Yams or something.
Yankees.
I don't know.
Yankees. Why do we not know
what are we talking about? How do we not think of that?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. We're complaining. Okay, we missed that one. Okay, what's the next one? All right, a food that starts with an F. We're going to end on this one, Chad. Food that starts with an F. Okay, I've got a double F. I got a double F.
A double F.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you. Let's see. God, see, I should know. Tons of things should be coming to my mind right now, and I keep wanting to say fruit, and that's not a food. That's a food category.
It's true. That's not the double F I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no. If you're thinking double F, man, fish. I mean, is the easy one, but
fish works. That's not what I'm thinking of. So I was thinking of French fries. That's
French
the first
fries. Yeah,
mind for me. It was French fries.
For me.
All right, listen. We got to cancel this game. This is not our game. We got to move on.
You cut a lot of this out.
This is not good. We're going to move on from there. Not good, but that was fun. So that was our game Wavelength, which maybe we'll have some better guesses next time. That was fun. All right, so this is going to air around the holidays. So I got to ask: does Reliance Partners have a big holiday bash? What do you guys do for the holidays over there?
Yeah, no, we usually are. So we invite all of our offices that are, let's say, 5 to 15 people. A lot of times they'll do their own event, but they will come into Chattanooga too. They're invited to come here. We have a big holiday party. And then we also, some of the bigger offices will have their own party. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss a couple of the remote parties, but no, we have a good time. Our parties are generally legendary. I try not to be featured in them. I just want everybody to have a good time. And
okay, now I got to ask, what makes them legendary? I mean, let the cat out of the bag here. What is it?
We want everybody to have a good time. I mean, of course, we definitely have, if you're at one of our parties, you're going to hear, not just hits, that are, let's say top 40 in the US or any other song. We have a, huge population of, individuals that speak other languages. So we will mix in some of that.
Oh,
And
yes.
so,
Nice.
it gets fun and everybody gets into it. So we have a good time. Lots of maybe a little bit of adult beverages, but also people, they jump out on the dance floor. They have a good time. We try to
Dancing.
make it fun. Not
Any
me.
karaoke
No,
going
I
on?
usually
Any
don't.
karaoke at the Reliance parties?
No, I think that's
The
not
after hours.
permitted. Yeah, no, just not a good idea, probably.
That's all. How about reggaeton? Do you know the style of reggaeton music?
Yeah, no, I don't think we've had any
No.
of that before, but there's
That's
always
good
a
dance
first time.
music. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, start dancing to reggaeton, nobody's going to want the rest of the music. But
yeah.
this
Well,
might be
I
a
won't
Taylor
need
Swift
to either.
party comes up.
Yeah.
You never know. It might be a Swiftie party. Well, Chad, listen, man, it was great having you on the show. Thank you for being a part of this, and congrats on all the success, man. You guys are doing phenomenal work. Every person on Reliance that I've talked to, every one of them, phenomenal
That's
human
awesome.
being. So kudos to you, man, and congratulations on all the success.
Well, no, likewise, and thank you for having me on today, and congrats you as well.
We'll get you back on in 2024, and until then, man, have a wonderful holiday season, my friend.
Hey, appreciate Trey. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody, make sure you come back every Tuesday for a new episode of Standing Out, a show about sales, marketing, and leadership. We're going to have some great shows coming up. And make sure that you enjoy the holidays. And again, shout out to our friends over at SPI Logistics for making the show possible. Check them out at success.spi3pl.com. And remember, stop standing still, start standing out. We'll see you guys soon.